Hello everybody. I just wanted to do a video working on a job that is a cookbook, and this particular cookbook, this is the way she presented it to me. Now, in a lot of cases when I do cookbooks and they have graphics that they've placed in the Word document, a lot of times I'll find better suitable graphics that may make a more cohesive design. So I'm probably going to do that, but I also like to provide when I'm doing a custom job, I usually prepare two concepts. A concept that's kind of, if they did some sort of workup in their Word document, I'll do a concept that's kind of similar but looks a lot better to what they did. And then I'll do one that's completely different that usually is a little bit more artistic. But so I want to use her graphics because I actually did a search for them on Deposit Photos and Shutterstock, and these were only like Adobe Stock and Dreamtime, which I don't have accounts for. Or credits, so I'd like to avoid not getting them, so I'm going to pull them from her document just to create the sample, and if she does want to go with those, I will go ahead and download the legitimate ones, So, in Word you can go to the picture and you can do a save as picture, but that's time consuming, especially if you have a lot of photos or images in that Word document. Now, pulling images from a Word document typically isn't the best thing to do because Word has this great little feature. Now, my Word is not set up this way, but it will basically, let's see if I can find it really quick. Yeah, image size and quality. Actually, I need to change mine. It automatically defaults to 220 ppi. And so that is the reason whenever you import images from a Word document into InDesign, the resolutions usually come through as 220. It's because Word does it automatically, unless the client embeds or links the image and provides you with the linked image files. More than likely that resolution is going to be too low for print unless they have gone in and changed their default resolution, which no one does because no one knows to do that. Thank you, Microsoft. So in most cases, if you have a client who provides a document with tons of images, you are more than likely going to need them to provide the image files. Some clients are good at that, some clients are not. However, Photoshop has definitely gotten a lot better with resampling photos, so you can always resample all of those images to 220 up to 300. Now, it's really not the best thing to do. You really want to work with high resolution images to begin with, but if it's all the client has, I would just advise them that the quality may not be there. All right, so back to this. Let's say if you have a Word document with a ton of images and the client does not have the individual files of the images to provide to you. How can you pull them out? Well, like I just showed you, you could right-click on the image and do a file save as, or you can just copy your Word document. So here's the Word document. I'm going to copy it and place it. Then I am going to change it to, you can call it whatever, document.zip. I'm going to change it to a zip file. It's going to tell me it's unstable. That's fine. Then what we're going to do is we're going to extract the zip file, and it's on my other screen right here, so you can't see it. All right. So basically, we just unzipped this Word file. All right, you may say, okay, what does this mean to you? How is this going to help me? If we go to Word and we go into the media file, Here are all the graphics exported directly from that Word file. So here you go. There's all your graphics. Easy peasy. Now, let's say that you had a ton of images and you wanted them to all be 300 dpi, because if we open these up, let's go ahead and open it up in Photoshop. And I guarantee you these will probably be too small for me to use. Go image size. Yeah, it's coming as a 2x2 at 72 dpi. I will not be able to generate anything that's going to print reasonably well using these images. So in these cases, I typically go back to the client and just say, hey, look, these are not going to print great. What do you want to do? All right, but if they were a little bit better in resolution, there are certain things that we could do to run a script on that whole folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy. Now the EMF files will not work, but the PNGs and the JPEGs will. So we're going to copy all of these. And I'm sorry, you could probably hear my dog in the background. And interior, and I'm just going to copy it to a links folder. Now, the reason why I always call it links is InDesign, when you package files, automatically calls it a links folder. Hence the reason I always do that. And I have a tendency to package my InDesign files a lot. All right, so here we go. What we're going to do is we're first in Photoshop, we are going to create an action. We're going to record an action. So open up an image and then go to the Actions tab. Now, this may sound a little daunting, but it's actually quite easy, and ignore all my stupid actions that I have. What we're going to do is we're going to start in creating a new action. So what we're going to do is open your Actions panel. If you don't see it, go to Windows, Actions, and you're going to go to New Action. And it's going to bring this up, and I usually try to call it something reasonable. And so we're just going to call it 300 dpi. You can actually make, if it's something that you're going to use frequently, you can actually make it some sort of key, but I usually don't, because you can just hit play in the action. And anyway, we're going to be running this in Adobe Bridge. All right, so what we're going to do now that we've named it, we're going to hit record, and then we're just going to go to image. So we're recording now. We're going to go to image size, and we're going to change this to 300. And we'll keep the size the same, but you can easily change if you know that you wanted all of your images to be 6 inches wide, or 6 inches tall, or whatever. You could actually go ahead and change that here as well, but we are just changing the resolution. Click OK, then do a file, save as, and I want it to save as a PSD because I typically work in PSD files. Make sure you're in the right document. So I'm actually going to tell it to go to Interior Links. I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to close this file. All right, now our Actions panel went away. So we're going to come back to it, and then we're going to hit the Stop button. All right. So now we are going to go into Adobe Bridge. Now you can also do this in Photoshop. Used to not, but so I just have a habit of doing it in Adobe Bridge. And what you need to do is go to that folder. Oh no, she's a Jera, Stephanie, Originals. Did I save everything under Originals? That makes no sense. Okay, I know what I did. All right, so here we go. Here is the links folder. So here are all of the files. The only one I don't want to do is the one that's the PSD already. So we're going to select all and deselect them. And then in here in Bridge, you go to Tools, Photoshop, Batch. Okay. and it's going to open up this batch process in Photoshop. You go to default actions, or if you save the action under a certain name, you would go there and then you would find the name of the action that you just created. And then you can tell it where to save it at. I have destination none because I have my action tells it where to save it at. You can actually tell it to name it a certain way, which is cool. So if you ever need to rename a lot of files, this is a great, using Adobe Bridge is a great way to rename files, because as we talked about in eBooks, you don't want any parentheses or blank spaces or funky characters in your file names when it comes to exporting an ebook. You'll get errors, and we don't want that. So if you ever have a ton of image file names that you need to rename using a batch process in Adobe Bridge and just setting up a serial, basically, so it would go from 001 to 100, how many ever images you have is a definitely time-saving thing. But we don't have that many images, so we're not going to rename them. All right, so we've got our default action, 300 DPI. We're going to click on OK. And what Photoshop is going to do is it's going to run that action on every single image in that folder. All right, so now it's done. A lot of time saving. So now we have every image. So here's the PSD file, 300 DPI, PSD 300 DPI. So they're all there. So I hope that helps and saves you a little time.